Imagine arriving in a land you've never seen before. You expect chaos, you expect primitive tribes, but instead, you discover cities larger than many in Europe, universities filled with scholars, markets overflowing with gold, ivory, salt, spices, and cloth, kings ruling over millions of people, and traditions so unique that they challenge everything you thought you knew. Many of the first European explorers who traveled into Africa wrote about customs that amazed them. Some they admired, some they misunderstood, others they simply couldn't believe. Today we're uncovering some of Africa's most fascinating forgotten traditions, practices that shaped kingdoms, communities, and generations long before colonialism. Some are inspiring, some are surprising, and some will completely change how you see African history. Before we begin, subscribe to African Tales Arising and join us as we uncover the incredible stories history almost forgot. Now, let's travel back hundreds of years. Across much of Africa, age wasn't simply respected, it represented knowledge. Every important decision often involved councils of elders, whether choosing leaders, settling disputes, planning harvests, or deciding whether a community should go to war. The elders discussed everything carefully. Young people were encouraged to listen rather than interrupt. Knowledge wasn't written in books alone, it lived inside people. Stories passed from grandparents to grandchildren became living libraries. Entire histories survived through memory. Without those elders, many civilizations would have disappeared forever. When strangers arrived, hospitality was considered sacred in many African societies. A traveler arriving at a village could receive food, water, shelter, sometimes without being asked who they were. Communities believed that every stranger carried a story, or perhaps a blessing. Visitors were often welcome before questions were asked. European travelers frequently recorded their surprise at the generosity they experienced in harsh environments. Helping strangers often meant ensuring everyone survived. Imagine walking through enormous markets, thousands of merchants, gold dust exchanged instead of coins, salt worth nearly as much as precious metals, colorful fabrics stretching as far as the eye could see, women negotiating prices with incredible skill, blacksmiths forging tools, potters shaping clay, musicians entertaining crowds. These weren't small village gatherings. Some African markets attracted traders from North Africa, the Middle East, Asia, and Europe. Commerce connected entire continents centuries before globalization. Long before television, long before newspapers, there were the griots, master storytellers, historians, poets, musicians, advisors to kings. A griot could recite family histories stretching back hundreds of years. Every victory, every tragedy, every great leader was preserved through spoken word. One mistake could alter history. That is why griots trained for decades. Their memories were extraordinary. Without them, much of Africa's history might have vanished forever. Marriage wasn't always just about love. Sometimes it united kingdoms, created peace, ended conflicts, strengthened alliances. Royal marriages could transform entire regions. Families became partners, communities became allies, trade routes became safer, children inherited powerful legacies. Marriage often served diplomacy long before modern governments existed. Growing older wasn't automatic, it had to be earned. Across Africa, initiation ceremonies prepared young people for adulthood. Some learned survival skills, others learned community responsibilities. Many spent weeks or months being taught discipline, respect, leadership, and courage. These weren't simply celebrations, they marked life's most important transition. A child entered, an adult emerged. Forests weren't merely collections of trees, mountains weren't simply rocks, rivers weren't just water. Nature held deep spiritual meaning. Communities believed humans and nature depended on one another. Sacred forests were protected. Certain animals symbolized wisdom. Specific rivers were honored for sustaining life. Protecting nature meant protecting future generations. Many modern conservation ideas reflect principles African communities practiced centuries ago. One of Africa's greatest artistic traditions involved masks. But these weren't decorations. Each mask represented something important: ancestors, spiritual forces, leadership, justice, fertility, harvest. During ceremonies, dancers became symbols of the spirits the masks represented. The performances combined music, dance, art, and storytelling into unforgettable experiences. Each movement had meaning. Each drumbeat carried a message. History often overlooks Africa's influential women, yet many societies entrusted women with enormous responsibilities. Some ruled kingdoms, others commanded armies. Many controlled major trading networks. Women served as advisors, priestesses, judges, entrepreneurs, and respected community leaders. Their influence shaped politics, economies, and culture. Their stories deserve far more recognition than they often receive today. Massive walls, stone cities, beautiful palaces, sophisticated irrigation systems. Long before modern construction equipment, African builders achieved astonishing engineering feats. Communities adapted architecture to deserts, rainforests, savannas, and mountains. Homes stayed cool despite intense heat. Structures lasted centuries. Many still stand today. Drums weren't simply musical instruments. Sometimes they communicated across great distances. Different rhythms carried different meanings: announcements, celebrations, warnings, royal ceremonies, festivals. Entire villages understood these musical languages. Music united communities. It preserved traditions. It strengthened identity. Every beat told a story. Many African societies focused less on punishment and more on restoring harmony. Village meetings allowed everyone to speak. Victims were heard. Offenders accepted responsibility. Communities sought solutions benefiting everyone. The goal wasn't revenge. It was restoring peace. Although not perfect, these systems emphasized healing rather than endless conflict. One idea appeared again and again throughout Africa: no one succeeded alone. Families supported each other, neighbors worked together, harvests were shared, homes were built collectively, children were raised by entire communities. A person's strength came from those around them. Individual success mattered, but collective success mattered even more. For generations, many of these traditions received little attention outside Africa. Some were misunderstood. Others disappeared under colonial rule and modernization. Yet their influence remains in community values, languages, music, art, ceremonies, leadership,
family life, and cultural identity. Understanding these traditions reveals a richer, more complete picture of Africa's remarkable past. Not a continent without history, but one filled with innovation, wisdom, creativity, and resilience. History becomes far more fascinating when we hear every voice. Africa's traditions remind us that civilizations can preserve knowledge without libraries, build powerful societies without modern technology, and create cultures whose influence still echoes today. Which tradition surprised you the most? Tell us in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into Africa's forgotten past, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with friends who love history. Thank you for watching African Tales Arising. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep discovering the stories that history almost forgot.